Hello guys, I'm back with another video here. It's a little bit different to what I've been doing just recently with videos, but I'm here today to make awareness of Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. May is Ehlers Danlos Syndrome Awareness Month, and this month is May. I just want to make an informative video about it and how it affects me. I'm making various videos for this month, but this is the first video for this month. It's the first week in May, so I'm making this video about Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. As you can see, I am wearing a top. I am strong. I am a warrior. Hashtag Ehlers Danlos Syndrome Awareness. So basically, Ehlers Danlos Syndrome is a genetic connective tissue disorder. It affects many aspects of your body, and it can affect people to varying scales. Some people have mild symptoms where some people are really debilitated by it. Some people are in the middle. It's sort of a big spectrum condition. It's a chronic condition. It causes a lot of chronic problems. It's got a lot of comorbidities going along with the Ehlers Danlos syndrome itself. So yeah, like I said, it's a connective tissue disorder. People aren't aware what connective tissue is. It's basically everything. It's throughout all of your body. It's basically everything that holds everything together. So collagen is everywhere, so it affects your collagen. The collagen doesn't hold things together. So like a joint will slip out of place really easily because of the collagen, and then in turn organs will go floppy and stuff like that. So I'll speak about a bit how it affects me. But before I do that, I just want to say that I will be linking a link down in the description box to the NHS website, where you can find more information about Ehlers Danlos syndrome from a medical sort of explanation rather than me explain it, because it's not the easiest thing to explain, but I can explain how it affects me anyways. So a bit about the background with it. I got diagnosed at 13, but I've had problems all my life really. I had right up until the diagnosis, but we were never sure what was quite wrong. Obviously, with it being genetic, you are born with the condition, but like I said, we didn't know what was wrong until I got to 13. I knew that I was extremely double jointed. Later found out that it's obviously hypermobility. As a child, I was very double jointed, but not just that. I had a lot of pain, but it was put down to growing pains. But these pains were absolutely horrendous, and thankfully they stopped saying it was growing pains. But I had that right up until I was 13. But I did start experience dislocations at age 12. It was the most scariest experience I ever really dislocated my shoulder, and nothing's been the same since. Sad reality really of the condition. So it affects me to a varying scale. Some days are worse than others. Some weeks, are worse than others. You get what I'm saying. It changes daily though. Yeah. So basically, most of my joints are affected. I've dislocated both shoulders, elbows, knees, hips, jaw, thumbs, fingers, ribs. Anything you can really think of dislocating, you can dislocate with Ehlers Danlos syndrome, and they can be really quite painful, the dislocations. But I've had a fair few dislocations, and I still continue to have a fair few dislocations, so that can be quite awful to deal with in itself. Another thing with the Ehlers Danlos syndrome is that you get a lot of chronic widespread pain, so I'm in pain daily. It's quite a painful, debilitating condition. Also, I'm on very strong painkillers to try and help the pain, but it doesn't always help. I want something called a fentanyl patch. Fentanyl's a very strong drug. It's 100 times stronger than morphine. But it does its job. But I mean, it doesn't 100% take my pain away. But I know no pain medication is going to take your pain away. But I'm still in a fair amount of pain. So like I've mentioned, the joint problems I've got. I've also got quite severe stomach issues. It's also now affected my esophagus. I've got a feeding tube. I did make a awareness video about my feeding tube back in I think it was February for Feeding Tube Awareness Week. I rely heavily on my feeding tube to get my medications as well as feed. I've got something called a PEG with a jejunal extension, so it's percutaneous gastrostomy with jejunal extension. I will make a separate video on that, but my stomach is getting slowly paralysed. Don't know how else to say it. It's getting paralysed, and eventually it's going to pack in, where I'll probably not be able to eat for too much longer. I'm only on a very small diet to start with now, but I'm hopeful that I'll still keep eating at the moment. But like I said, my esophagus is getting affected and I am choking more, and that's a sad reality. Unfortunately, the condition is slowly stealing my life, and it's stealing many other people's lives as well. It's awful. So like I've said, I've mentioned about my stomach. Also, I am heavily affected with my bladder. I have got a suprapubic catheter. My bladder completely packed in last year. It just stopped working. It didn't want to work anymore. I ended up very ill in the hospital. I had retention. Yeah, that wasn't fun. I've had the suprapubic catheter since January. I did have an indwelling one since last May, so I've had the catheter all in all for about a year now. So getting used to catheter life, I'm quite used to that now. It wasn't fun to deal with. You don't really want to be dealing with a catheter at 21. It's scary, you know. Like I said, I'm dealing with a feeding tube and a catheter too. Tubes are hanging out my body. It's not the nicest, it's not the prettiest of sights, but I deal with it. So like I've said, also I'm affected with, I get quite bad palpitations with my heart, and I have quite severe low blood pressure. I am getting treated now with a medication to try and bring my blood pressure up. I've got sort of POTS type symptoms, but I'm not diagnosed with POTS. I'm still going through few sort of tests and whatnot with falls and syncope. I've got a very nice doctor there. He's very helpful, and he listens a lot. Another thing to mention is that I am going deaf. I've got a hearing aid for my left ear, and my right ear is starting to get affected. I can tell it's the way it's going. Unfortunately, we don't really know what's happened to me hearing, but we do know that it's going, and it's dropping quite. It's the hearing is decreasing quite a bit in my left ear. I've not got very much hearing left in that ear now. Sorry, one moment. I just wanted to make sure that I'm telling you everything as best I can, so I wrote a few things down. Yes. I wanted to also mention that I have had various surgeries since the age of 13. I've lost count of all my surgeries, but I know that I've had many hand surgeries, foot surgeries, jaw surgeries, and bladder surgery. I've had various operations, and going to need further operations in the future as expected. Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention the fact that I'm in a wheelchair now most of the time. Really not got a lot of mobility left now. Unfortunately, it's also stealing my mobility. Luckily, I am waiting to get a part job. I got a bit delayed, you know, because of the coronavirus. I'm just hopeful that that'll give me some more freedom, you know. Currently got a manual wheelchair, and it's not the sort of easiest thing to control, and I can't really physically, because of my joints, rely heavily on people to help me, like my mum, auntie, friends and stuff like that. Fortunately, I've lost friends due to the Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. People kind of stopped being my friend. I just don't know if it freaked them out, or they couldn't be bothered with the fact that I ended up in a wheelchair. It could be a number of things, but I don't dwell on these things, and I don't think about these things. Another thing I wanted to mention, this is quite upsetting for me, and I'm not sure how, if I was going to mention this and how I was going to mention it, but I am going to mention it, that I've come quite badly affected with my bowel over the last couple of months. I've become severely incontinent, and we're not sure what's going on, but it's looking increasingly like that. It's definitely, well, it's more than likely, well, no, it has been said that it's a prolapse, but I'm not sure how we're going forward with that at the moment, but I know that I've got a prolapse in my bowel. Yeah, it's sad, it's awful actually. It's one of the worst things I've had to deal with this condition is becoming incontinent. But I'll get there. Let's not get upset. So, I think I've mentioned everything. Like I said, organs go floppy, joints dislocate, wide amount of joint pain, various medications for various things. I hope this video has been informative for you guys, and that everybody's well. God bless. Please like, share and subscribe to make awareness of Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. Thank you. Bye.